My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Today, January 1st, 2022, we start off the year celebrating the great solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God. She who is also our Mother. And I wanted to begin this time of prayer with a quote from Saint Josemaria, who loved this feast day. He said, "All the feasts of Our Lady are great events, because they are opportunities that the Church gives us to show with deeds that we love Mary. But if I had to choose one among all her feasts, I would choose today's, the feast of the divine motherhood of the Blessed Virgin. The feast, the solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God. It goes directly at who she is, the reason for which she was created, to be the mother of Jesus, who is both God and man. So she truly is the Mother of God, because Jesus really is God. In these days of Christmas, we have been celebrating, contemplating, and reliving Jesus' birth. Jesus, whose mother is Mary. And Mary said yes to God's plan to be the way in which God enters into our humanity. God becomes a human being through Mary. So thank you, Mary. Thank you. Through you, God takes on our human nature. Jesus, you came to us, came to our human race through Mary. This is why the Church has always encouraged us to love Mary and to grow in our relationship with her, because Jesus has come to us as a man through her, and so we can get to Jesus and ought to get to Jesus through her as well. We're just following God's logic. The second person of the Blessed Trinity, God, became man, entered into our human life as a human through Mary. And so we also go to Mary to get to Jesus. Imagine showing up in Bethlehem. Today is the 8th and final day of the octave of Christmas. And imagine showing up to Bethlehem, and there you find Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Jesus is just a week old or so. And if you want to see the child, to go up to him, to even hold him, well, it makes sense that you first go to his mother. You look to her. You ask the mother, may I go up to him? May I hold him? May I kiss him? We could even ask more questions to Mary about Jesus. What is he like? How does he like to be held? Where is he ticklish? All things that mothers know about their child. Mary, teach us how to deal with Jesus. Teach us how to pray. Teach us how to talk to the child. One of my favorite Christmas carols is a Spanish Christmas carol, and it's called Romance del Ciego. Or in English, I think the best translation would probably be The Ballad or the Song of the Blind Man. And it tells the story of St. Joseph and Mary and the child. They're traveling. And it's very dry. Perhaps they're on their way to Egypt. and it's very dry, and they can't find water. And the baby Jesus needs water. And so do Mary and Joseph. And they come upon a poor man, a man who sells oranges. He has an orange tree, and he's blind. And Mary talks to him. Mary asks for an orange for the baby who is thirsty. The blind man says yes, and tells her to take as many oranges as she wants. He's very generous with them. And as they leave, she gives him a cloth, a handkerchief, and says, "Wipe your eyes with this." And as he does that, he begins to see. He begins to see, and he starts to say, well, who could this be? Could that be Mary? Could that be Joseph with the child Jesus? Mary, we ask you to help us see, to see Jesus, to see God made man in the child in the manger, to see Jesus in the Eucharist, to see Jesus in those around me. God wants us to honor Mary, to have a mother-child relationship with her. She's not simply a saint that we have a special devotion to. She is my mother. Mary is not the source of grace, only God is. But she can intercede for us. She can ask God for those graces in our behalf, and she does that. She does it all the time. St. Alphonsus of Liguori, 18th century priest, founder of the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, also known as the Redemptorists. He was a prolific writer, and he wrote a lot about the Blessed Virgin Mary. And in one of his books, he makes reference to a story or to a bit of a legend, but it has to do with a true devotion to Mary, that there's a town in the southern part of Italy where there at least used to be, I don't know if there still are, but there used to be a lot of pickpockets. And it's also an area in which there are many tangerine trees. And there's devotion to Our Lady of the Tangerines. And the pickpockets have a very special devotion to her. And they recognize that being a pickpocket is not the most honorable profession, right? It's wrong to steal. But they say that Mary loves them in a very special way, and they love her. And so when they die, they say that they will go, just like the rest of us, to wait in line in front of the gates of heaven to see whether St. Peter will let them in or not. And Mary, Our Lady of the Tangerines, Mary is always there on the lookout for her pickpocket children. And when she sees them, she signals over to them, encourages them to get out of line and to go hide in the nearby bushes, And then at night, when the gates are locked and no one's there and St. Peter's sleeping, she comes and cracks open the door and lets them into heaven. It's a nice little legend. And it touches upon a very deep reality, a beautiful one, that she wants us in heaven. She really wants us there, and she's continually working so that we can get there. And the key to heaven is union with God, doing His will. And so, yes, Mary, as our mother, will grant us the favors that we need as God sees fit. And what she really wants is for us to love and follow the will of God. That's the most important thing. Because that is what she did. Mary, that is what you did. You lived only to do the will of God, only to serve Him, to carry out your mission. So while we will have many petitions for Our Lady, which are very good ones, and we should ask her, right, to help me get this job, or to help me or someone close to me recover from an illness, and many other wonderful things, let's ask her first and foremost to help us see, accept, and embrace God's will. Help us, Mary, to live only for God's will as you did, to help us seek out your Son and to do whatever He may ask of us. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you've communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.